please come join us. We have Dr. Jurgen and Marcel Oede. Are you going to both pitch it, or?
No, it's actually only 6 minutes, so it's, I'm gonna...
I think it's a smart way to go. Here's your clicker. I think you're going to use these. Yep, very good.
Yeah, cool.
All right, looking forward.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting us to pitch here. Let me jump straight to my presentation. So let me introduce 1plusX, the 1plusX team. We are a Switzerland-based team of engineers, approximately 1/3 from Google, the other 2/3 from leading engineering schools in Switzerland and abroad. What is actually our mission? We create the best insights from data to make digital communication of businesses measurably more successful. And the measurably is really important in this aspect, as I will show you in a couple of minutes. So what do we actually really do with an overview? Let me show you in this slide here. You all are in a situation, or marketeers, but also publishers, are in a situation where they meet and encounter, have users that they know, like the one on the top left, and others that are anonymous, that they see for the first time, that they don't really know a lot about. Well, our platform in a first step does what we call profiling of users, even users that you see for the first time. We actually kind of create social demographic profiles that can then be used in the next step to really do what we call prediction for digital communication. So we tell you which part of these users, which intelligent audience segment has the best match against a specific ad or a specific digital communication, can also be a piece of content. This is done in a machine learning approach. I will explain you a bit more throughout the presentation. Next, we allow you to activate this audience, and we then measure the real impact on a per user basis, per profile basis, so that you can actually see how well is the prediction working, how well is this audience segment working within your campaign. We then use the measured data to basically improve the prediction on the profile and also the prediction on the digital communication fit, right? So this is, when you actually kind of think about it, it's like a learning machine that starts, kicks off with your data and actually learns throughout your campaigns, throughout its usage, and from the results will become smarter and smarter. Let me dive a bit deeper into how this works. So how are we actually getting the data to do the profiling? First of all, we analyze the content that is out there. So we are really crawling the different websites, the different content pieces that are actually out there to understand what users are interacting with. We then do a behavior analysis of each single profile, depending on how much data we actually have about this user or profile. And we also integrate, we ingest data from CRM systems or from ad logs or login platforms. We bring all this data together into what we call an embedding space, an intelligent embedding space. And we then use this embedding space to do predictions over 100% of your audience. So this can be audience that has just purely seen your advertising online somewhere. That's already enough for us to actually start kicking off a profile and doing prediction. On the other hand, obviously, it can also be a customer that has already shopped with you, that you know a bit better. So we then, as I already mentioned, help you to activate this kind of audience, and we then, in the next step, really learn from the campaign outcomes. We help you to report it, we help you to actually improve it. It's all done fully automatically in our predictive data management platform. Now let me also go a step further and explain you a bit more in detail how we build this embedding space. So the embedding space is at the core of our technology. What we do is we take all the data that you already have on specific users. So let's assume you have a matrix here on the left, you have lots of users, and then you have attributes that you would like to understand, that you would like to have about these users, like gender and age and maybe income and interest and so on, shopping behavior specific to your product. Now you might have, and those are the dark blue dots, some data points, but you don't have enough to really work with this data. What we do is we actually feed this data and all the other data that we collect from content analysis into what we call a very large embedding space. So it's a couple of hundred dimensions, many items that are actually, and users that are actually kind of deep learned into the space. And we then, on the next step, use signals that we extract from the space to complete out the metrics of attributes and users that you actually see. By doing so, you come for the first time into a situation that you really have attributes value for every single user that you see within your digital space. Now, this has been used for a couple of years now already in mostly the European market for now, but we're internationalizing this. I'm going to show you two customer success cases, two of our reference customers. One is Admira. This is the largest, actually, media agency, media reseller in Switzerland. What they did is like they gave us some of their CRM data, and we basically mapped out all that user space, audience space throughout their entire, actually, kind of audience base. So the CRM data was approximately about 1 million users, and we reached 10 million users in total with it. All this predictive expansion, they basically kind of resulted in 32% improvement over the third-party data that they normally used. This was measured against Facebook Atlas. Furthermore, we actually worked with Axel Springer. They're using our technology on a lot of different campaigns. On average, we actually reach 50% better clicks than any other data that they have used so far. And this is, I think, a real good starting point to use our technology within your digital advertising campaigns. Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you. Excellent. So, jury members, questions, please? Who's going to break the ice? We have a microphone right here. The question is, who are you selling to? Publishers primarily?
So we actually kind of have publishers, media resellers, and advertisers as our customers.
Another question, Pat? Sure, yeah. And repeat the question.
Yeah. Sure. So let me just, sorry, a lot of animations here. Let me just go back to the, whoops. Well, actually, the question was like, not sure.
Thanks.
Too many clicks. The question was like, what is the added value if you fill out the gaps, as I explained in my slide, right? The point is that if you really want to understand the impact of specific attributes like gender, age, income, interest, behavior, and so on a digital campaign, you need to have a value, right? So if you don't have those values, you cannot do the learning. So in effect, we see at the end, when you run through a campaign analysis, we see which of these attributes has actually kind of contributed most to the success of the digital advertising or the digital campaign, as you may say.
That allows for better segmentation and selecting subgroups of data.
Exactly. You can actually kind of use it for better segmentation. You can use it to continuously learn. So a typical setup is you have a campaign, you see that out of 1 million, maybe 10,000 have really bought your product. You then use those 10,000 to improve the learning, and you actually will see a real uptake on conversions in a performance campaign. In a brand campaign, you will see all the correlation of users that might be viewing this ad or might be buying after they have seen this ad offline and so on, you will actually kind of see age or income or a certain interest category is the strongest driver for that.
Pricing?
The platform?
Yeah, pricing.
So generally we price per profiles that we process. So if you have, our largest customer is around 100 million profiles that we process. So, that has a price. And then our smallest customer has 3.5 million profiles that we process. That has another price.
Excellent. So,
Is it display only, or can I use this with search or other channels?
So when we, in one of my slides I said like, web, radio, TV, and so on. So we basically ingest data from all different channels. So on TV, we work with HPV TV signals that we process back in. On radio, we basically work with, typical radio signals that you get from radio boxes, smart radio boxes that we process in. On web and on mobile, we work with SDKs to actually get that data in. So we have really approaches to all the different channels, and then depending on customer and depending on need, which media channel he wants to process, we select the respective channel.
okay, great. So let's jam. Let's go ahead, ghost number. Let's do a quick little jam, and well, Charles is coming on up.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. Charles is going to jam with you. Charles, you can join us? Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer. I believe, Charles, you're up. No?
Somebody from Barclays, correct? No. Somebody from another bank?
I think we've got a little bit of a speaker mix-up. Julia, can you help out?
Somebody else that wants to jam with us?
Yes, exactly. All right. Ghost number, once again. Here we go. Thank you.
So, yeah. So, if I get this right, I'm supposed to say how I believe clients at Wunderman can use this product.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I think that the trouble with a lot of our clients is they have data all over the place. And I think, one of my jobs as a data scientist is to bring that together. I think if this platform works in the way I've interpreted it right, it will make that process a lot easier for them to do. One of the big barriers of actually using data across multiple sources and gathering that in is often a challenge as well. So think about gathering content from radio or TV. It's very difficult for brands to actually invest money in doing that. So if they can do that in one platform, in one place, that will make it much easier for them to use those data points. And mapping it out to additional customers who they haven't got signals for is something I've done many times before for clients, and it's very, very valuable because you can use data from predictions and from models that you wouldn't be able to use otherwise, and you gain an understanding for those customers. So the value, if those case studies are right, and I'm sure they are, is seen from selling adverts or pushing your product to the right people. So I think that's my interpretation of.
Do you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you.
Excellent.
No worries.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.